Hello, I don't really upload much on this channel, I know. Look, I've got some other stuff probably coming, I don't know. But I do have a gaming channel, RealmRabbit, if you want to check that out. Right now, this is horrible, epic rap battles of history, almost said horrible histories, that's a different thing. They've uploaded a new video recently, and I figured I'd give my reaction to it. It's Henry Ford versus Karl Marx. I know a bit about these two. I have a bachelor's in history, although not really much on this subject in particular. But I do know we've got Karl Marx. I know quite a bit about Marxism and communism and such. And then we've got Henry Ford, who was a sort of a guy who revolutionized the production of automobiles with his assembly line, and he made cars that were cheaper than ever before, far cheaper and far more affordable. I believe that was in the 1920s, it might be 1910s. But yeah, also was a pretty terrible dude in terms of, like, I believe he was anti-Semitic, I think. Possibly a Nazi, I don't know. I think I've heard that. And then also I know he didn't treat his workers too well. So maybe that'll come up, but let's just see what we got here. That's a good call, Marx.
My lines are a production, your lines are bread. Disassembling timepieces is how I got my start now. Watch me tear your ideology apart. Use dream, unite the workers, free the class slaves. Lose your chain, trade them in for mass graves. I would stop it. Wow, appalling amounts of body bag. When a world leader likes you, that's a red flag. I produce with my two hands. You're a destitute.
I'm probably gonna go over it after.
Any person tries
break
to
it
see
down.
my private property will catch a toll press to his private parts properly. Who takes advice from a broke slime? It's laughable. I wouldn't wipe my tailpipe with your Das Capital. If you'd saved a penny for his daughter you named Jenny, you might not have needed to bury quite so many. Who's that proud young Nogalian heavy drinking card candy?
Alright.
Future thinking legal leather ink and proletariat. It's Karl Marx. Prepare to be rhinestone. I'm dropping you like Hitler dropped your name in Mein Kampf. My codes of Eden called mass grade. You get that from books, but you didn't read shit. Your self-made man studies from a tourist. Your daddy's the hands gave you a free fall and forest. You were the first of 6 kids till the 7th killed your mother. Maybe that's why you spied at your workers like Big Brother. Your Model T, total lack of style is killing me. They can take shit from you according to ability. Do what your first car can't and back up. Beating is like your city in Brazil. Nuts! Don't step that close without some beard shampoo, son. You lived in Cologne. Look like you could've used some. I drip with style like a dipstick drips oil. You look as sick as your chronic dick boil. I'm mass-producing abuse on a utopian hobo. I'm throwing you for loops like the F in my logo. I gave men work, you brought nothing but harm. Take your blues, white pig shit back to Animal Farm.
I'm gonna go over this afterwards, though, and just break everything down, I think.
Factory conditions were bleak, cramped with machines, cranking out 4 severed fingers a week. You controlled what employees could think, drink, and eat. And when they marched for better wages, shot them dead in the street. In truth, what you produced were alienated working men who would clock into Detroit and lose themselves like Eminem. And now your Great Lakes state ain't exactly a great sight. You were West of Michigan and Flint's water bites. You griped about oppression, don't leave me impressed. You're not hot, Karl, that's just shit on your chest. For a man to stay west, you got an awful lot to say. I pay you $5 a day to go away. Your buddy Angles bankrolled you with this textile bill. I guess the capitalists are cool when they're paying your bills. You're a hypocrite, a nitwit who's flub with substance issues. Step off your soapbox, take the soap with you. Look, dummy, shedding money is the communist vision. Engels Bank was the crank.
This is very weird.
We got everything to see the common people advance. I'm so down with the cause, I even pawned my own pants. You grew so out of touch, you sabotaged your only kid. It's a stomach cancer, showed more love than you did. So congrats, your legacy is in ashes. Remembered as the fascist sympathizing cause of climate change and car crashes. From your newspaper to your Nazi factory, cross the pond. Frankly, Hank, it's clear as which side you are on. This battle's been applauded like that hemorrhage in your head. I leave a floor as expected, son on road dead.
Okay. So let's actually try and break down the lyrics, I can go over what ones I understood or, didn't. Mr. Motor City meets the Menace in Red. Okay, so Menace in Red, like, communism. Mr. Motor City, that's referring to himself. Pretty simple.
Menace in Red, my line.
My lines are production, his, assembly lines.
They're a production, your lines are bread.
Lines are bread, as in, communists in the Soviet Union lining up for bread. Soviet Union, being communist in theory. Obviously inspired by Karl Marx.
Disassembling timepieces is how I got my start now.
Disassembling timepieces is how he got his start. I assume that's just true. He started off disassembling clocks, I guess. I don't actually know that, but that's what the implication is. And then he's saying, now watch, as in a watch, a clock, Watch me tear.
Let me tear
your ideology apart, okay.
Apart. You scream, unite the workers.
You scream, unite the workers. Read the class saves.
Lose your chains, trade them in for
Lose your chains, trade them in for mass graves. Okay, so again, one thing this is kind of doing is pinning the Soviet Union on Karl Marx. At least, I don't know, it's not entirely true, but it's not entirely false either. It depends how you want to think about it, I guess. Obviously, Marx's view of communism was very different even from Lenin. And Lenin obviously went around mass killing people. Marx didn't believe that the communist revolution should have a leader. Like, it should just be a revolution of the proletariat. There shouldn't be a leadership role with, like, hierarchy. That's kind of counterintuitive to the whole thing. And then he also didn't approve of the people that wanted to rush the revolution. I believe there were communists in France, which during Marx's lifetime he criticized for this, wanted to do a violent revolution, just force it. He believed more so in a slower transition to communism that wouldn't happen during his lifetime. He also interestingly thought it would happen in Germany, where it's more industrialized, but instead it happened in Russia, which is interesting since, Russia wasn't really capitalist, it was a monarchy. And it also was not very industrialized at all at the time. But anyway, let's continue on. Tram in for mass graves. That's kind of, as I mentioned, referring to all the mass graves of killing people, by people, Lenin, Stalin, so on, just murdering people en masse.
mass grave. Mao and Stalin. Wow.
Mao and Stalin, wow, yeah. Mao as well, in China. Appalling mounds of body bags.
When a world leader likes you, that's a red.
When a world leader, okay, that's clever. When a world leader likes you, that's a red flag. So obviously you have the obvious thing of that being a red flag as in scary danger. But then also a red flag as in a communist flag, which, all the communist countries, they all have their red flags. The Soviet Union did, China still does. There was the Vietnam, plenty of them, basically. They all adopt a red flag.
I produce with my 2 hands. You're a
I produce with my 2 hands. You're a destitute tramp. I have no idea what this is meaning. Well, actually, it was. I know the destitute part. Karl Marx was very poor. I believe he was often asking Engels for money. Friedrich Engels, who he worked with on the Communist Manifesto, and stuff. Scheming to trade bootstraps.
Trade bootstraps.
In for food stamps, okay, that's pretty clear. You know, pull yourself up by the bootstraps is common saying by, capitalists. In for food stamps, that's a very, lefty policy. Any Prussian trying to... Okay, so Prussian as in... Prussia is a part of Germany, and I could go on about this more, but to keep it short, Prussia is a part of Germany. Karl Marx was German, so I assume he was part of Prussia in particular, or from there. Seize my private property, that's a thing that many communists did. I believe Fidel Castro, Mao Zedong, Lenin, a lot of people.
Property will catch a tall grass to his.
Hold on, what was that? How do I go back? We'll just go this.
Bootstraps in for food stamps. Any person tried to seize my private property.
Will catch a torque wrench, okay, used for making cars.
Will catch a tall grass
to his private parts properly. So a torque wrench to the crotch, basically, is what he's saying. And properly, yeah. So I feel like it's also a play on words of private property. Like it's kind of playing with that idea of private property, which obviously communists not a fan of.
Who takes advice from a...
Who takes advice from a broke slob? Okay, again, Karl Marx, not very wealthy, unlike Henry Ford.
Broke slob. It's laughable.
It's laughable. I don't know if that... I think that's just a throwaway. I wouldn't wipe my tailpipe. Okay, so is wiping his butt, but also tailpipe is in a car,
I wouldn't wipe my tailpipe with your desk.
With your desk capital. Okay, so he's calling it desk capital. It's actually a book by Karl Marx called Das Kapital, about capital, money. But he's saying Das Kapital to kind of, shit on it, as it were.
Capital. If you'd saved a penny for restore...
Oh, my phone making a sound. If you'd saved every penny for each daughter you named Jenny? What? Never heard of that, but did he have multiple daughters named Jenny?
Daughter you named Jenny, you might not have needed to bury quite...
Oh. That's dark. So what, did he just keep having daughters named Jenny and they kept dying at a young age? Huh. That's rough.
Who's that proud young...
Alright, so we got Karl Marx now. Who's that proud young Hegelian? Hegel is a philosopher. I'm also a bachelor's in philosophy. I didn't study Hegel, but I know the name. Heavy drinking, card carrying. Future thinking, Lincoln letter in King Proletarian. Okay, so he's referring to himself as, I guess he was a Hegelian? I'm not sure. Yeah. Prepare your rhyme stomped. I'm not sure I get that. Prepare be rhyme stomped. I guess it's just, he's gonna stomp on his rhymes. I think it's just that simple. I'm dropping you like Hitler dropped your name in Mein Kampf. I've not read Mein Kampf. I like collecting books, so I have the Communist Manifesto. I also have Mein Kampf and like various other books. Leviathan by Hobbes, etc. So yeah, anyway, just so we're clear when I say this, but I do have it. I haven't read it. Apparently, Henry Ford's name is mentioned in Mein Kampf. So that seems like a bit of an oof if your name is in Mein Kampf. My concepts didn't cause mass graves, greed did. Kinda true, arguably. You'd get that from books, but you didn't read shit. Wow, he says that after I say I didn't read Mein Kampf. Okay. Your self-made man stories doing from a Taurus. Your daddy's two ants. Okay, I don't know what the Taurus thing is. Don't throw shade at Tauruses. Gave you a free farm and forest. Okay, so I guess that's talking about Henry Ford's inheritance and, you know, privilege, I guess. You were the first of 6 kids. Till the 7th killed your mother. Really? Definitely didn't hear about that, but all the particularly biographical stuff I am not super keenly aware of on these two. Maybe that's why you spied on your workers like... Spied on your workers like Big Brother? Okay, so... You know, I mean, that's a typical capitalist thing. Some of the companies, anyway. They get a bit overzealous on the overseeing of workers, making sure they're productive. There's some countries where they even make sure you're, like, spending your productivity is being perfected even to down to like the microsecond, and it gets like insanely crazy in some third world countries. But I guess in this case, Henry Ford was for his time, probably anyway. It probably doesn't compare to like some places now. For his time, very overseeing of his workers, probably. And then Big Brother, that's kind of like, you know, George Orwell's 1984, obviously, reference there. Brother, your Model T total a lack of style is killing me. Okay, so I don't know what... I feel like I'm missing part of it, but part of it is the Model T, which was Henry Ford's famous car that he was able to sell for way cheaper than all the other cars due to his assembly line. It's like his most notable invention. According to ability. Okay, hold on. We can't take shit from you. According to ability. Okay. So there's a famous Marx quote. It's like, take from so-and-so according to ability to according to their need or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but he's basically saying we can't take anything from you because you have no ability. Like, you're garbage, basically. You're shit, so we can't take anything from you. You know, can't take anything from zero, basically. Do what your first car can't. And back up. Okay. That's kind of funny. You don't even need to know about that, I guess, to get that. So I guess the Model T or whatever was Henry Ford's first car. I think it was the Model T, but I don't know for sure. I guess his first car couldn't back up. I guess that wasn't a thing originally, which sounds very, very weird. Probably gets you into some rough situations if you can't back up. Beating me is like your city in Brazil. Nuts. I don't know if that's referring to the name, or maybe he just had a city in Brazil that, like... Is that like a company city, or... I'm not sure what quite that is referring to. Something to do with nuts. Apparently, it would seem. Brazil! Nuts! Woo, don't step that... Woo, don't step that close. Without some beard and shampoo, son.
your shampoo, son. You lived in Cologne.
You lived in Cologne. Okay, Cologne, Germany. Look like you could have used some. Okay, so it's a reference to Cologne is in the product, but also Cologne, Germany.
You could have used some. I drip with style.
Saying he stinks, basically. I drip with style, like a dipstick drips with drips oil. So he's saying he has drip, as in, you know, Riz or fashion, basically, or, you know, you normies. And then dips, like a dipstick drips oil. That's again another car reference. He's a car guy, so he likes cars and car references. You look as sick as your chronic dick boils. Okay, that's just gross. I didn't need to read that. I'm mass producing abuse on a utopian hobo. Okay, so, you know, communist's goal is eventually building a communist utopia, so that's the utopian part. And the hobo, Karl Marx was kind of a hobo. So, I don't know. I don't think it was actually ever homeless, per se, but definitely on the edge. I'm throwing you for loops. Like the F in my logo. Okay, so I guess Ford's logo has a loops in it. Haven't really seen it lately, but that sounds okay. That sounds right. I gave men work. You brought nothing but harm. Take your bourgeois pig shit back to Animal Farm. Okay, so bourgeois, that's like the proletariat, that's the workers, the poor, etc. They're at war with... Oh, wait, no. Never mind, I got that wrong. The bourgeoisie are the rich. Bourgeoisie. Those are the rich and powerful, the oppressors in Marxism. And the proletariat are the workers, the poor and such. You know, the working man, as it were. And he's saying, take that bourgeois pig shit back to Animal Farm. Animal Farm, from the author of 1984, George Orwell. Animal Farm is like a shorter book about sort of, you know, a society that's kind of like the Soviet Union, but it's all animals. It's taking place on a farm. The pigs are kind of ruling everything. My favorite line from that is, like, it's something like, all animals are created equal, but some are more equal than others. That is an amazing line from that book. Yeesh, your factory conditions were bleak. Pretty self-explanatory.
Conditions were bleak,
Crammed with machines cranking out 4 severed fingers a week. Okay, so obviously in factories back around the 1800s and early 1900s, things were not great working conditions, and people would often lose fingers in machines. Yeah, especially since they also had like a lot of children working in these factories. So there was also in addition to having these dangerous machines, there was also a lot of incompetence from, you know, the workers being in part children. You controlled what employees could think, drink, and eat. That's him cracking down on protests, basically, I believe. I don't know what about drinking and eating. That might be, I don't know if there were company towns, again, where people would work, you know, for the company, and then they could only spend their payments at the company store, which was the company's, you know, store for its workers in the city that everyone worked for the company in, basically. And in that way, if he did own a company kind of city like that, he would also control what they drink and eat. But I don't know if that's true for Henry Ford. It might be, it might not be. And when they marched for better wages, shot them dead in the streets. I don't know if he actually shot them, but I think he had these goons going around, like, clubbing these protesting workers. So, whatever it was very violent against these people demanding better wages. He was not great. I think he did pay his workers well, thinking like, well, I don't know. I've heard mixed things about how he paid his workers, because on the one hand, people will say he paid his workers awful and that's why they were protesting and such. On the other hand, people will say he paid them well because he knew that that would help him sell cars if they had more money to spend. But yeah, I kind of lean towards him not paying them well. I don't know what the actual truth of the matter is. In truth, what you produced were alienated working men, alright? Who would clock into Detroit and lose themselves like Eminem. Alright, that's a reference to Eminem the rapper. He has a famous song, Lose Yourself. So, that's in reference to that. And now your Great Lakes state ain't exactly a great sight. Okay, so I think he's talking about how awful the state of Detroit is. Because I guess that's where Henry Ford was from. Would make a lot of sense to me. I don't totally know that, but and I think that's on the Great Lakes. So I think that's what that is referencing.
It's exactly a great sight.
You were worse from Michigan. Okay, maybe it's Michigan? I don't know. Then Flint's water pipes. Okay, maybe he was talking about how garbage Michigan is. I don't know. But then he's saying Flint's water pipes. Everyone knows, at least most people know, if they pay attention to the news, Flint, Michigan has some of the worst water pipes in the US, I think. I think it's kind of... I mean, a lot of the US is actually, I think, pretty bad, but Flint, Michigan is known basically for its water pipes being garbage. Like, that is, at this point, basically what the place is known for, I think.
You gripes about
your gripes about oppression don't leave me impressed.
You know.
I don't think I get what that point was. That one flies over my head, but I'm sure there's something there. You're not hot, Karl.
Hot, Karl.
That's just... Okay. I don't know what this is about. It sounds like some weird kinky stuff going on. I'm not kink shaming, but not what I expected, basically. I'll leave it at that.
Just shit on your chest
For a man who's stateless,
stateless,
you got an awful lot to say. Was he stateless? I don't know. But, you know, stateless and then, you know, stating as in saying things. You've got an awful lot to say despite being stateless. I get that play on words.
Awful lot to say.
I'll pay you $5 a day.
$5 a day to go away.
To go away. Again, I think that's just referring to how much he pays his workers and telling him to go away.
Hey, buddy, Angle's bank.
Your buddy Angle's bankrolled you. I mentioned that earlier. That's true.
With his text.
With his textile mills. Okay.
Style bill, I guess.
I guess the capitalists are cool when they're paying your bills. So yeah, obviously, I guess Frederick Engels was, living it up like a capitalist, and because of that, he was able to fund Karl Marx's lifestyle while he worked on the Communist Manifesto, among other things. So, he's kind of calling Karl Marx a bit of a hypocrite here with this line. Yeah, you're a hypocrite, okay. A nitwitted schlub. Bit weird language, but... With substance issues, okay, so I guess he's saying Karl Marx was abusing some drugs or something? Well, no. Substance issues, I think Karl Marx earlier said he was heavy drinking, so it's probably referring to him being a heavy drinker. Step off your soapbox. Take the soap with you. Okay, so again, calling him stinky, because he needs to clean himself and such, is what he's saying. And then step off the soapbox. Like a soapbox you speak from. That sort of thing. Look, dummy, sharing money is the communist vision. I don't really think that's a good point back against what he said about the Frederick Engels funding him. Engels' bank was the crank that got the revolution spinning. I mean, I don't know. I guess Karl Marx, he sort of saw capitalism as like a stepping stone towards communism, so I guess that kind of works. I don't know. We gave everything to see the common people advance. I'm so down with the cause. I even pawned my own pants. What? Okay. Did he do that? I know clothes used to be way more expensive back in the day. Like, in the Victorian era, I've read this part of a book that, like, talked about how people used to literally, like, lure children away with, like, candy, and then they would, like, steal the clothes off that child and just ditch them to go sell the clothes. It seems like the most, like, creepy thing by our standards, and yet, they just wanted the clothes so they could, like, pawn them off, basically, and make money, because clothes were just way more valuable back then. Because in the early 1800s, it was, like, way more effort to produce them than it is now. Especially since nowadays we just also have third world countries that we pay very minimal amounts of money to make, a lot of clothing for us for super cheap. So yeah.
On my own path,
you grew so out of touch. You sabotaged your only kid. Edsel's stomach cancer showed more love than you did. Okay, so that's Henry Ford's son, Edsel Ford, I believe.
I even pawned my own path. You grew so out of touch, you sabotaged your only kid. It's a stomach.
Okay, so he's saying he sabotaged him by causing his stomach cancer or something? I don't totally understand. Maybe that's from, like, from the fumes of the factory that Henry Ford had. It caused his cancer, perhaps? I don't know quite what the reference is. I don't know what the details of Edsel's cancer is, basically. But showed more love than you did, saying Henry Ford didn't show love to his kid. You know, he was a bad father, basically, is what he's saying. So congrats. Your legacy's in ashes. Holy cow, this is gonna be a long reaction video. Your legacy's in ashes. Remembered as fascist sympathizing cause of climate change and car crashes. So your legacy is in ashes. Ashes is in the stuff resulting from, you know, climate change, the world burning in wildfires. Probably also the factory fumes, you know, things being burned in factories. And then also car crashes, you know, also causing more fires. Let's go. Remembered as a fascist, yeah, that's the other thing. A fascist sympathizing. Again, he was kind of sympathetic to the whole Nazi thing going on during his time, Henry Ford. So from your newspaper to your Nazi factory across the pond. Okay, yeah, he had a factory in Nazi Germany. Frankly, Hank, it's clear. He's calling him Hank. I don't know if that's a nickname. Auschwitz side you were on. Oh. It's clear Auschwitz side you were on. So clear of which side you were on, I think is the play on words there. Auschwitz being a death camp that was used to carry out the Holocaust during that whole period. And also there was, I mean, you could also maybe go into detail about how there was like different sides to Auschwitz. One side, like there's like Auschwitz like 1, Auschwitz 2, and you know, people would be kind of sent to one which would be like the labor camp, and then the other one which would be like the death camp. But I don't think that's, you know, that's just a little fact that I don't think is being referenced here, but maybe it could be. Like, you would have like these Nazi doctors, basically physicians like Mengele, famously, who would be, you know, looking over people, finding ideally for them like a adult male who was like healthy but not too old, and then those people would likely be sent to the labor camps where life expectancy would be like about 6 months before they would die of exhaustion. And then there would also be the death camps where, you know, a lot of the children, elderly, women, those people, the sick or disabled, those people would be sent to, and they would probably die, you know, within days. Possibly like immediately. You didn't last long in the death camps, but the labor camps was actually a whole separate thing. People still died in mass, like quite a lot in the labor camps, but the death camps is where you just like you were just gone immediately. But yeah, side of Auschwitz, it could be referring to, you know, which side internally in Auschwitz, kind of. Yeah, there could be a connection there. This battle's been a blowout, he says. Like that hemorrhage in your head. Alright, so he's saying there was a hemorrhage in Henry Ford's head. I imagine that's what killed him. And hemorrhages, obviously, a blowout, it kind of like bursts, I believe, and it kills you if it's in your brain. Very, very frequently. If you have a hemorrhage in your brain. So I'll leave the Ford as expected. Found on road dead. I'll leave the Ford as expected. That's a play on words. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something obvious there, but that's flying over my head. Found on road dead. Okay, so he's saying he was found on road dead. I assume that's where Henry Ford was found dead with a hemorrhage. in his head or something. Who won? I'm not really sure. I am kind of a capitalist, so I might be biased here in saying Henry Ford won, but let's go over it one last time and I'll decide. Man, this is a 40-minute React video to a 3-minute video. Holy cow! All right, one last time.
Mr. Motor City needs some medicine. Red. My lines are a production. Your lines are bred. Disassembling timepieces is how I got my start now. Watch me tear your ideology apart. You scream.
Okay, I feel like, though, a lot of it also kind of depends if you want to attribute what the Soviet Union did under Lenin and Stalin and such, Mao as well in China. If you want to attribute all those things to Karl Marx when they didn't really listen to his ideology, they just interpreted it a different way and ran with his ideology, I don't really think that's fair. It's like when, how you have Friedrich Nietzsche, who, people misunderstand his ideology as, like, being used by the Nazis, when really it's because his sister took his ideology, bastardized it, and selectively showed it to, the Nazis to try and make it like the ideology of the Nazis after Friedrich Nietzsche had died. I don't think you can really blame Nietzsche for that. It's not like he even liked his sister. He said, you know, he really hated his sister, but yeah. Point is, I don't really agree with the idea that if someone, like, comes along and, you know, bastardizes your ideology, that you get blamed for that, when it's not really what you would have supported. If Karl Marx was alive, he would not have supported Lenin in what he did, very, very clearly. So yeah, I feel like those points are missed for me from
Unite the workers,
Ford.
free the class slave. Lose your chain, trade them in for mass grave. I would stop it. Wow, appalling amounts of body bag. When a world leader likes you, that's a red flag. I produce with my 2 hands. You're a destitute tramp.
When world leader likes you, that's a red flag, though. That is a good line, I think, because I mean, when they do like him, there is that thing. You know, a lot of communists do like Marx, even if they butcher his ideology. So I think that one works.
Scheming to trade bootstraps in for food stamps. Any person tried to seize my private property will catch a torque raised to his private parts properly. Who takes advice from a broke slob? It's laughable. I wouldn't wet my tailpipe with your Das Capital. If you'd saved a penny for a starter you named Jenny, you might not have needed to bury quite so many. Who's that proud young Nogalian heavy drinking card carrying? Future thinking legal letter income proletariat? It's Karl Marx. Prepare to be Reichstall. I'm dropping you like Hitler dropped your name in Mein Kampf. My codes of didn't cause mass grave. We did get that from books, but you didn't read shit. Your self-made man studies come from a Taurus. Your daddy's two hands gave you a free fall and forest. You were the first of 6 kids till the 7th killed your mother. Maybe that's why you spied on your workers like Big Brother. Your Model T, total lack of style is killing me. They can take shit from you according to ability. Do what your first car can't and back up. Beating is like your city in Brazil. Nuts! Don't step that close without some beer shampoo, son.
This is a very close rap battle. I feel like a lot of other ones, you can tell, like, you know, with the Adam and Eve one, it was very clearly Eve. I can go over all the other older epic rap battles, but I've already seen them. This one is different in that it's new. I've not seen it until now, before this video, so, you know, but I can go over the other ones as well.
You lived in Cologne. Look like you could have used some. I drip with style like a dipstick drips oil. You look as sick as your chronic dick boil. I'm mass producing abuse on a utopian hobo. I'm throwing you for loops like the F of my logo. I gave men work, you brought nothing but harm. Take your bourgeois pig shit back to Animal Farm. Your factory conditions were bleak. Crowded with machines, cranking out 4 severed fingers a week. You controlled what employees could think, drink, and eat. And when they
I'm feeling like I'm leaning towards Henry Ford, though, still. I don't know.
for better wages, to shut them dead in the street.
I do like that line though.
But you produce
Delivery.
working men who would clock into Detroit and lose themselves like Eminem. And now your Great Lakes State ain't exactly a great sight. You were Western Michigan and Flint.
Wait, hold on. I think I just realized something new.
Dead in the street. In truth, but you produce for alienated working men who would clock into Detroit and
lose themselves like Eminem. Yeah, I think another thing is like, isn't Eminem from Detroit? I know he has that song, Detroit City. That's like, welcome to Detroit City. That was a good one. But yeah, I don't know. That might be another thing that I missed.
lose themselves like Eminem. And now your Great Lakes State ain't exactly a great sight. You were Western Michigan and Flint's water bikes.
You griped about oppression, don't leave me impressed. You're not hot, Karl, that's just shit on your chest. For a man to state less, you got an awful lot to say. I pay you $5 a day to go away. Bloody Angles bankrolled you with this textile bill. I guess the capitalists are cool when they're paying your...
This part, I feel like, though, I don't know. A lot of this whole epic rap battle, it just depends how generous you want to be to Karl Marx. Because, again, this could be taken as a own on Karl Marx for being a hypocrite. But then if you want to be generous to Karl Marx, it kind of arguably isn't. I don't know. This one, though, I kind of do lean more towards it working than not. Whereas blaming Karl Marx for all the Soviet Union and Mao stuff, I'm kind of more on Karl Marx's side.
Bill, you're a hypocrite. A nitwit is love with substance issues. Step off your soapbox, take the soap with you.
Look, dummy, shedding money is the communist vision. Engels' bank was the crank that got the revolution spinning. We gave everything to see the common people advance. I'm so down for the cause, I even pawned my own pants. You grew so out of touch, you sabotaged your only kid. It's a stomach cancer showed more love than you did. So congrats, your legacy's in ashes. Remembered as the fascist sympathizing cause of climate change and car crashes. From your newspaper to your naughty factory, cross the pond. Frankly, Hank, it's clear as which side you are on. This battle's been applauded like that hemorrhage in your head. I leave a floor as expected, found on road dead.
That is a good ending, though. This is like, I'm very, if I had to like be honest, I'm very 50-50, but if I need to choose a winner, I don't know, I'm gonna say Henry Ford, but it's like very barely. It's very, very barely. Yeah, okay, well, I guess that's the end of this reaction video, this 48-minute, holy cow, reaction video. If you enjoyed, I've got a gaming channel, I would love to see people go there, but otherwise, this channel is more like, actual real-world stuff. I might do, I don't know, go over politics and stuff, or maybe more reactions, perhaps more ERB, although I've already seen all those stuff, the older stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I also might post AI art videos. So yeah. Anyway, like, subscribe, check out my other stuff, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. And who do you think won?